es, en qué consisten, what you have to kind of give your opinion on. No
You have to read a topic and listen to a lecture.
Mm-hmm.
And then we have to listen to 5 ideas, I think.
More or less. They're integrated like the ones we were seeing. So that means we're also going to have other material, not just a question. We're going to listen to a conversation and we're going to read a text as well. And en base a eso vamos a hacer nuestra respuesta, como las anteriores, except this time both material, the reading and the conversation, are going to be a little bit more academic, a little bit more formal.
Mm-hmm. Yes, I think that is the same question, but the difference is that they are academic subjects.
Mm-hmm. They work a little bit different as well. Hay un poco de estrategias diferentes, pero sí es básicamente la mismo formato, digamos. So vamos a ver esas hoy día. Vamos a... Ok. Les voy a compartir. Okay, everyone can see the screen, right?
It's black. Oh no, it's...
¿Ya está?
Okay,
Yeah,
yes.
sorry. It takes a little longer to load, pero... Ok. Veremos qué tal está el internet en esta. Para ponerles el timer en la pantalla. Si no está funcionando muy bien el Inter, como la anterior vez, I'm going to put the timer on my phone and you're going to be able to listen to the beep. Okay. No, ahí no sé por qué no aparece el timer de... Okay. But for the third type of task in the speaking part of the exam, the indication they give you is you will now read a short passage and then listen to a talk on the same academic topic. You will then be asked a question about them. After you hear the question, you will have 30 seconds to prepare your response and 60 seconds to speak. So the exact same structure as the last one. Reading, 45 segundos para la lectura, así que es algo breve, un párrafo, un poco más de un párrafo. The conversation, which is around the same length as well. And the tipo de preparación es el mismo, 30 segundos, 60 segundos. I suggest, as always, you have your paper and your pencil. The thing about these, la cosa sobre este tipo de preguntas, es que las dos cosas que les van a dar, they're about the same thing, pero puede que tengan información diferente, o sea, sean como información complementaria. Now, one may give a general definition of the topic, and the text might give like very specific examples. Or the text might talk about how it happened at one point in time, no sé si es algo de historia o algo de cultura, and then the conversation is how it further developed in the future. Okay, so no siempre van a hablar exactamente lo mismo, pero es información complementaria, so tienen que prestar bien atención a eso. So first we're gonna read the text. Y voy a poner el timer en mi cel. Okay, so we have 45 seconds to read the passage, and the title of the passage, igual, como primer indicio, el título que van a tener en el texto es su primera guía de qué va a tratar todo esto. It's kind of like juntar las habilidades que han visto en la parte de reading, las habilidades que han visto en la parte de listening, and sum it up in this one, because it's a little more difficult. Okay. Bueno, para antes de cronometrarnos, vamos a leerlo en voz alta. Does anyone want to read it out loud? voluntariamente. Carolina, go ahead.
Yeah. Okay. Often business negotiations are seen as similar to sports games. In such an approach, negotiations are treated as win-lose scenarios, in which each side holds a position that must be defended. However, business negotiations can also serve the interests of all parties involved. In this model of negotiation, the different negotiators do not function as competing teams with conflict interests, but rather as partners working toward a common objective. Business negotiate toward the common goal of a deal that suits the needs of both sides. This is called principal negotiation, and it's especially useful for long-time business partners.
Okay, so everyone have a general idea of what we're going to be talking about? Business relationships in general. Mm. Okay, now we're going to listen to a conversation. It's usually a lecture, part of a lecture, or a conversation in class. So igual en contexto más académico. So vamos a escuchar eso.
Now, listen to a lecture on this topic in a business class.
You can see the effects of principled negotiation right at this university, actually. We have, a private company running our cafeteria, right? The university pays the company to buy food, hire employees, and serve meals to the students. When they drafted the contract outlining their expectations, the university and the food service company had to think about their future together and how they could keep students happy. Only if the students were satisfied would the relationship be able to continue smoothly. That was the common goal. So, at the company's request, the university agreed to fund training the cafeteria workers, precisely because they saw that training as being in the best interest of the students, even if the direct benefit was for the food service employees. And it was coming out of the university's pocket. And at the same time, the food service provider agreed to buy and serve only organic foods, ingredients that cost more but are healthier for student diners. If the food service had refused to buy those higher quality ingredients, it's more likely that students would have passed on meal plans, or worse, requested the university find a different service. Obviously, the company'd want to avoid that. In the long run, these kinds of decisions were in line with everybody's goals, especially you, the students.
Using the example of the university cafeteria, explain what is meant by principled negotiation.
Okay, did everyone understand the question del final? ¿Todo el mundo entendió qué está pidiendo la pregunta? Sorry. No.
No, miss, I couldn't listen it because I was writing the things before it, but I know it's wrong.
Ok. Igual, ¿no? Esto les da la pregunta así de corridito, pero les van a dar una pausa para que la piensen. So, vamos a volver a escuchar la pregunta.
Using the example of the university cafeteria, explain what is meant by principled negotiation.
Okay, so using the example of the cafeteria, explain what they mean or what is meant by principled negotiation. You guys have 30 seconds. Bueno, ya han tenido más tiempo, pero para armar su respuesta, tienen 30 segundos. I'm going to call on anyone randomly. So your 30 seconds start now. Okay. So, anyone want to share their response? Who feels ready? ¿Quién se siente listo para dar una respuesta? Does anyone feel así segura de su respuesta como para compartirla? Okay, so Fabiola, ¿quieres dar tu respuesta?
Okay, but I didn't finish. I don't have the time. I don't have the time to finish. It's my biggest problem in the speaking part.
Yeah, for this one really, porque son preguntas mucho más para pensarla, ¿no? Mucho más de razonamiento, mucho más donde tú tienes que sacar tus interpretaciones, and it takes a while. Pero, a ver, hasta donde tengas anotadas tus ideas, hasta donde tengas desarrollada. Y lo que te falte, intenta llenarlo sobre la marcha, ¿ok?
Okay.
Okay, so your 60 seconds start now.
Okay. The main topic of the reading is about what is principal negotiation. As a matter of fact, it is the principal negotiation is a business where the negotiation about business goes toward the common goal that will help both business. In the lecture, the professor gives us an example about what is a principal negotiation. She gives the example of the cafeteria in the university, where the university and the cafeteria both look the same goal. That is this goal is the students, the benefits of the unhealthy meal of the students.
Okay.
Something like that is the last part that I don't have the time to finish.
What else did you want to add? ¿Qué te faltaba agregar?
Actually, the specific examples that I write, but I have done the time to, I don't know, to put in the speaking or speaking part.
What more specific examples did you have? For example, ¿qué cosas mencionabas?
Okay, that the organic food, organic food that maybe the university want to look or improve the meal of the students, including organic food, and that it's an idea that the cafeteria have to, about the university and the cafeteria have to discuss to the same goals, that the goal is the students, the health of the students.
Okay. I think es que there's the answer in the last details you gave. Lo que responde realmente la pregunta está en esa segunda mitad de todo lo que querías decir. So I think while you introduced it well, you really te has quedado casi 40 segundos en introducir, ¿no? Lo que decía el texto, lo que decía el lecture, that I think we can really do that much more briefly. And lo más rico de tu respuesta, que era justo lo que mencionabas, estaba ya en la segunda parte. So te puedes dar más tiempo for the better part. Because it's asking for reasoning, like for giving it's asking for an explanation. So we can say, damos la introducción súper breve, ¿no? What is principal negotiation? So mencionamos, no? The lecture says that principal negotiation is when both people participating in a business relationship are benefited rather than compete with each other. In the case of the university cafeteria, this is shown by, y ahí podemos dar más ejemplos precisos, because the question, lo que está pidiendo precisamente la pregunta es que expliquemos por qué este ejemplo que da es esta cosa que nos han explicado. So, eso. Any questions?
No, it's only the time. That's it.
Yeah, it's practice, guys. It's really a matter of. Fíjense que están. Do you guys have TikTok? Or do you like watch TikTok?
Yes.
So it's like kind of a fun thing to do, no aprender jugando, but pretend you're recording a TikTok del tema que les guste, whatever you guys want, porque, bueno, me han dicho que ahora hay más tiempo en el TikTok, hace tiempo que no tengo, but it usually has a 1 minute limit, right? You can only record 1 minute. So you can kind of pretend, ¿cómo explayaría esta idea si lo tuviera que poner en un TikTok? And that helps you limit your time, te ayuda a reconocer tu tiempo al hablar. O si no, háganlo igual en formato entrevista, como que finjan que you're on a talk show and someone's asking you a question and you time yourself. Okay.
I have a question.
Mhm.
So I couldn't be in yesterday's class. So I don't know if we have a template for this section. I mean, this question.
Oh, okay. They're the same type of, the same format as, well, they're integrated questions. So they have their reading, their conversation, and you have to give your response in the same amount of time. 45 seconds to read the text, 30 seconds to prepare your response, 1 minute to give your answer. Except this type of task is much more academic. It's much more formal. It goes into little topics that are a little bit more in depth, and so es un poco más logístico. You kind of have to give your own conclusions, not just your opinion, but draw conclusions, interpretations, y un poco eso. So that's kind of what we're going for now. Same logic, but with a little bit more, I don't know, serious, pero sí. We're gonna go with another one. So sorry. Here. Okay. So we're gonna do this one. You have 45 seconds to read. Aunque ya lo están viendo en pantalla, pero your 45 seconds start.
Teacher, we did this yesterday.
Oh, you already saw this one, the pictographs. Ok, ya lo vamos a pasar entonces. De lo que cambian las formitas, ¿verdad? Yeah, we're gonna. How many of these did you see in your class yesterday? ¿Han hecho varios de estos or just this one de los pictographs?
I think just that one.
Okay, so ojalá no nos topemos con otro porque. Okay. Again, la instrucción, short passage, You read in 45 seconds, then you hear the conversation, 30 seconds to prepare your response, and 60 to answer. Vamos a ver. Did you see this one? The decline of Greco-Roman ideals in art. Yeah, I'm gonna guess no. Okay.
No, we
so,
didn't.
Okay, so again, title, su guía importante para todo. And your 45 seconds to read the passage start now. Cuando quieran bajar, me dicen para que lo scrollee abajo un poco. Starting now. Okay, everyone done reading? Yes?
No.
No, les falta. Un poco más. 15 more seconds. Ok, ahora sí, ¿todo el mundo terminó de leer? ¿Hay alguien que no haya terminado de leer? Ya, todas las ideas claras, ¿no? Del texto. Everything clear. Any questions about the text? ¿Alguna palabra o alguna idea que no la hayan cachado? Something that's not really clear.
Yeah, I don't really know what pineapple is. I don't know. I don't even know how to pronounce it.
Vamos a volver.
Pineapple.
Pinnacle. Pinnacle. In Spanish, it would be something like, I guess, la cúspide, pero como que el centro, el epicentro, como un pin, como si le pusieras un pin, un puntito a algo, es lo más importante de. So the pinnacle of achievement es como que lo más alto, el centro de lo más destacado de un logro, lo más, el mejor de los logros. That would be the pinnacle of achievement.
Got it. Thank you.
Okay, and remember, sometimes the information is going to be complementary. So it might give examples or it might give more complementary information. So, atentas a eso. Y vamos a escuchar el lecture. Estas. No, okay.
Now listen
No.
to
part of a lecture in a class focusing on the history of modern art.
Now, scholars sometimes like to say that in the 20th century, art based on Greco-Roman ideals of beauty and physical perfection fell totally out of favor thanks to the work of pioneering critics like Roger Fry. But today, I'm going to argue that this is actually an oversimplification. Now, paintings in the 20th century certainly became more abstract than at any other time in history. But in some ways, this had nothing to do with the work of professional critics like Roger Fry. I mean, I think it can be convincingly argued that the change in style was simply due to the invention of the camera. See, it was no longer necessary to turn to professional portrait painters to have one's picture taken. And for this reason, there was a gradual decrease in the number of students who went to painting school. It was simply no longer important to spend years mastering technical painting. And instead, it became possible to produce highly abstract works meant to express, well, ideas. However, many of these ideas still had to do with the age-old Greco-Roman ideals. For example, Manet's painting, Luncheon on the Grass, which is sometimes called the first modern painting, it actually used images originally copied from an ancient Roman coffin. Pablo Picasso, a great abstract artist, also created several paintings reacting to Greek mythology. And well, to this day, advertisers and filmmakers often turn to Greco-Roman notions of beauty in order to entice audiences. In fact, many modern artists have reacted to too much abstraction in modern art and are returning to classical Greek and Roman themes in their work. So, the Greco-Roman tradition in art is far from dead.
Using the points and examples from the lecture.
Oh, okay, this lecture was a little long. Before we hear the question, ¿alguna duda? ¿Algo que no haya estado claro in the lecture part?
I couldn't hear the part where she said it's far from. It was at the end.
Yeah, at the end. I didn't hear that exact phrase, but with the concepts, with everything she touched on, everything clear? Okay. So the question is, vamos con la pregunta. Using the points and examples in the lecture, explain how artistic standards changed in the 20th century. Okay, so you have 30 seconds to prepare your response. Hablen de how it changed. Starting now. Okay. Does anyone have a response ready? O sienten que todavía les falta tiempito? Does anyone want to try? Carolina, do you want to try?
Miss, I don't have the text complete yet. Sorry.
Okay. Natalie, you want to give it a try?
Okay.
Yeah?
Okay. That's it, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, tus 60 segundos start. Yeah.
Well, it is believed that the standards, artistic standards in the 28th century changed due to philosophical evolution from the perception of physical perfection as the ultimate aim to more abstract conceptions and ideas of art. However, in the lecture, it is explained that it might have changed due to the invention of the camera. So after the camera came in, it wasn't necessary for art students to develop such a technique abilities, and they rather developed some abstract techniques. That's it.
Yeah, 2 seconds on the clock. So, y ahorita sonar. Ahí está. Perfect. No, great answer. Really great answer.
Oh my gosh.
Nervous? El estrés de. Yeah, it kind of feels like
the content was very dense to me, to be honest.
it was. These are really, I'm not gonna lie, these are kind of difficult, especially if it's something that's not in your field. So like if it's something like, for me, sería algo de física o medicina, I would be totally lost, especially like biological medicine stuff, I'd be totally lost. So it's important really el momento de tomar apuntes es estar lo más presente posible, escuchando y in trying to write it down. Hacer mapitas mentales en vez de apuntes. It also helps, it's a lot faster, like doing a little mapita conceptual while you're listening. But yeah, I love the answer. The general idea that no como lo engloba todo was that, yeah, people started being more focused on expression rather than physical perfection, y dar los ejemplos, dar el ejemplo de la foto, dar ejemplo también de, bueno, menciona que están también los críticos ahí en cómo funciona todo. So that might have been another example, just a little something to add on, maybe fill in the time a little bit more. But other than that, I think you summarized it pretty well. Y listo, una buena respuesta.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, next one. Before we move on to the last one, haremos uno más. Pero antes de hacer uno más, ¿alguien más tiene una respuesta de esa misma pregunta? ¿Quién quiera compartir? Or you want to try? ¿Alguien? Andrea, let's try with you.
I didn't listen the lectures, so because my internet is so bad, so I only read the text.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, okay, how about we go with Rosa, did you manage to hear everything?
Yes, I listened. Well, I don't know if. Okay, I can try.
Yeah, sí, inténtalo.
Okay.
Okay, so tus 60 segundos start now.
Okay, the main topic of the reading is the history of the evolution of the art of Greco-Roman ideas. As a matter of fact, they mention how in the 20th century began to judge the Greco-Roman arts for the power of the beauty and the ideas of emotions. In the lecture, furthermore, they mentioned that how in the 20th century the Greco ideas become to more abstract ideas. Indeed, the other artists use Roman use to express an abstract ideas, but some art. No.
What
Yeah,
idea did
sorry.
you
I lost in my.
game show. It's just que reloj.
Oh, sorry.
No. What was your? No, don't worry. ¿Cuál era tu última idea? ¿Qué ibas a decir?
That matter as the artist returned to the Roman Greco style.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
vuelve.
yeah.
Okay. So good. ¿Cuál ha sido tu proceso? ¿Qué tenías anotado en tus apuntes para?
I have a lot of notes, and I was confused reading a lot.
Yeah, un poco saltando entre.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Un poco. I noticed you were like following the structure that they gave us, and it works sometimes, pero no hay que hacerlo también tan literal la estructura, ¿no? Como que si la estructura es introducir el concepto con lo que he mencionado y luego dar tu opinión y luego dar un ejemplo y luego dar un ejemplo, it's better por cuestión de tiempo también ir straight to the question, ¿no? Si la pregunta no te pide que des contexto, no es necesario más que maybe just mentioning it, ¿no? Or very, very briefly introducing it at the beginning. O giving the main idea of the answer, though. No de todo el contexto, sino la idea principal de la respuesta. En este caso, la respuesta es cómo cambiaron los estándares de arte. Entonces, es eso, ¿no? Well, you can say the text mentions how, for the most part, Greco-Roman ideals were what people aimed for. Introducido está, ya has mencionado el texto, listo, no tienes que explayarlo más. Y luego dices, pero a través del tiempo, en the lecture explica que pero ahí está, todo el contexto en una oración, listo. ¿Qué más quería decir? The vocabulary a bit. Es un poco, sí, precisar las palabras que están en el mismo texto. For example, you were saying Greco-Roman ideas, and it would be ideals, right? Ideales, not ideas. So eso es igual. But other than that, sí, igual mencionaste todos los ejemplos que dio. So I think it works well. And last one, we're gonna see one more. Ok, ¿han visto sobre altruismo o no?
No.
No? Ok, so we're gonna read this one. Lo mismo, 45 segundos. Lo voy a ir bajando. Y bueno, el título que les va a guiar, ya tienen la idea, es Altruism in Animals. Your 45 seconds to read. Start now. Okay. Is ¿alguien le falta todavía?
Me.
Vale, vamos a esperar unos 10 segundos más. Okay. Ahora sí. Any questions about the text? Algo que no haya quedado claro, any words, any concepts?
Can you upload the text, please?
Yeah, díganme cuáles. Les voy a pasar un Word con todos los textos. But if not, you can also, les voy a pasar igual, pero si quieren más, you can Google TOEFL reading prompts, TOEFL speaking integrated prompts, and you can see some more examples of these. Y lo más costoso son los audios, que tendrías que escucharlo ahí también, pero There are also some options online. Okay, now we're going to listen to the conversation.
Now listen to part of a lecture on the topic you've just read about.
The idea that altruism is a uniquely human characteristic that cannot be found in nature might be popular among certain philosophers, but it really has little basis in fact. Actually, altruism is relatively common in the animal kingdom. Well, for example, in certain families of squirrels, when a predator, say like a fox, comes around, the squirrels are known to shriek out to warn their family members about the danger, even if the noise makes them targets for the predator. Similarly, when a herd of, say, wildebeests is attacked, well, stronger members of the pack will try to trample the threat rather than let the young and weak get picked off, even if this subjects them to danger. So what is the reason for all of this, evolutionarily speaking? It seems like a puzzle, right? I mean, why would evolution favor the development of altruistic behaviors that might endanger individual life? The answer is, it's a bit complicated, but essentially the answer is that by protecting the entire community, including several relatives, the altruistic animal ensures that the community's genes as a whole can still be passed on. Well, in other words, if a single squirrel dies after, say, shrieking at a fox, but the entire community is spared, well, that means that from a collective perspective, the community's fitness is increased by having altruistic behaviors associated with its members.
Using the points and examples given in the lecture, explain how altruism may be a beneficial characteristic for some animals.
Okay, we're gonna see the question one more time, pero alguna duda, anything, any questions about the lecture? Well, this was also kind of a long one.
Yeah,
For me, it was, sorry.
No,
Yeah,
you first.
For me, it was cutting out a little bit, so I couldn't hear some words very clearly.
Okay. Ok, pero era cosa del Inter. Ya, bueno, vamos a ir completando información que falta con lo que respondan los demás. ¿Alguna otra duda?
Yes, I didn't heard the second animal she mentioned.
Okay, let's go back. Let's listen one more time. The first animal she mentions are
squirrels, I think, or not.
The second one are wildebeest. I'm not sure how that's spelled. Yes, wilde or wilde. I'm gonna Google it 2 seconds. But you know what they are?
No.
Son cows. Son como vacas gigantes que viven en África. Wildebeest. It's spelled WILDEBEEST. Wildebeest. Yeah, and it kind of looks like a cow. But when they're being attacked, they will go trample the animal that's attacking them sometimes. So, no sé si han visto alguna vez, tipo, en Animal Planet, hay leonas que están acechando un grupo de estas cositas, ¿no? Que son como vaquitas antílopes. And despite them being chased, some of them will go and chase them and como que les pisotean. Pero es un riesgo enorme, ¿no? Es muy altruista para cada uno de esos animalitos, ir y arriesgarse a pelearse con un león. But yeah, so now we have 30 seconds to prepare your responses. And starting now. Okay, and who wants to answer? Alguien que me haya contestado a un. I think everyone, creo que todo el mundo ya le dio una vuelta, ¿no? De contestar. Valentina, did you answer? I think it's
No.
Yeah, let's go on with you then. ¿Lista para esta?
Yes.
Okay, 60 seconds starting now.
Okay, this topic was about the altruism seen about the animals. At first, the scientists believed that those who were altruists were they are going to die, but in fact, they saw it. But however, evolutionary speaking, they have seen that the favoritism in altruism was I don't know. No, I am blocked these days. Sorry.
Yeah, yeah, I'm not gonna lie, guys. These are hard, so it's okay. Don't worry if like you're stumbling a little or you feel nervous. Estas son
Yeah.
para que.
I have a lot of notes, but in 30 seconds, I don't know how to, order these things I have here. And and then I can't write it complete because we are not going to have that time. So I don't know.
Like I said, como les estoy diciendo, you can hear, especially when they give you the audios, you can hear in what words they're going to put emphasis o en qué puntos van a hablar. So in this case, he gives the examples of the squirrels, he gives the examples of the, she gives the examples of the wildebeest, I'm sorry. And they also go around evolution. They, en algunos puntos, igual, like you said, from an evolutionary standpoint, so todos esos puntos que con los que estabas empezando, were really good. The thing is, el poder desarrollarlos un poco más. O sea, creo que tenías claros tus puntos. You just had trouble filling it in con que iba a rellenar ahí. But other than that, I think it was tus puntos claros. This one it's hard, guys. Y como solo tenemos esta práctica para hacerlo, I really recommend, I'm going to send you these texts in un Word, in un Google Doc, y I recommend also you guys look for it on your own, Google, TOEFL speaking prompts, and eso va a ayudar, because sí es cosa de práctica. Y lo que les dije igual, cronométrense, finjan que están en un talk show, que les están haciendo una entrevista, para un poco medir su tiempo también. Okay, we're gonna leave it there for today. Do you guys have any questions about these types of questions, about this part of the test, or any comments about the class? Okay, so I'm going to send you,
Sorry, yes, I have a question. Sorry. Actually, it's not a question. It's just make sure that if in the case that the question is only about the lecture, we don't have to, I don't know, put something that it was in the reading part, or in the passage,
You're always gonna combine, like they're gonna combine, te van a pedir que saques ideas de las dos. Tal vez como que hagas una especie de conclusión de las dos. Eso es súper importante, igual siempre prestar atención a las dos, pero también a lo que te pide la pregunta, ¿no? Si te pide una cosa en específico, pues con una conclusión de las dos, no es siempre necesario que hables de todo lo que decía el lecture, de todo lo que decía el reading, sino te va a sacar una conclusión te va a pedir que sea una conclusión de las dos, kind of así. Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Anyone else?
I would like to know where I can see the yesterday's class.
I'm not sure if you guys are with Paola or Andrea in your other class, but I'm sure she uploaded it on the YouTube channel. Tienen un canal de YouTube. Este igual va a estar en el canal de YouTube. Les paso el link de esta si quieren y ahí ven el canal y seguramente está su clase. Eso. Any other questions? Okay, so we're gonna leave it there, guys. I'm gonna send you a poll. Y espera, una asistencia. Y les mando una encuesta. Y espera. Ahora sí. So, pueden llenar la encuesta y pueden ir saliendo. So, good evening, guys. I hope you have a nice weekend. Feliz viernes. Have a nice fin de semana. If you're in Cochabamba, disfruten su cuarentena rígida, encerradas. And I hope if you're not in Cochabamba, igual puedan disfrutar su fin de, pero no tan encerradas. So see you guys. Bye.
Goodbye, Miss.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye, guys.